Are you comfortable with yourself, or do you doubt yourself constantly? Are you comfortable with yourself, or do you doubt yourself constantly, as a question?
It's interesting in regards to dis-ease. I have a lot of kidney stones.
Yes.
And many of these sacral
Yeah.
issues have come up. And also, I've had 2 back surgeries. So in the root,
Mm-hmm.
and looking at that, I can see when these issues were and when those issues occurred.
Yeah.
And how related they are.
It's so interesting and it's so fascinating. Like they're coming out with a lot of studies about how the body keeps the score, and where certain energy does get stuck in the body, and where it does impact certain organs, certain bone structures. And so this is why this work is just so powerful in the knowledge, because you're like, oh my God, I've been abandoning myself my whole life. Just to stay tapped in as fast as I could, so there's no confrontation, or so I feel accepted. And it's hurting. You're poisoning yourself. So these.
Sorry, are you comfortable with yourself,
Or do you doubt yourself constantly? Do you feel alive, or does life seem boring? Do you feel alive, or does life seem boring? Are you on Groundhog Day? Are you just kind of going through the motions? Or are you excited every single day to wake up? And it doesn't mean you have to change your whole life, but you just have to change, the perspective in which you're looking through, the lens, which we'll talk about more. And why I'm saying that is because if you are bored, or if you're looking for that life force, or if you're looking for that pleasure, right? Your sacral is also your pleasure center. If you're not getting that in healthy ways, then you will search for it in quick fixes like addiction, or shopping, right? They all kind of bleed into one another. Those quick dopamine hits with the hard crash on the other end. So that's where you kind of check in and be like, am I passionate about my life? Doesn't mean every single day feels like it's like you're going to Disneyland, but it means that you are in a space of constantly growing, and inspiring conversations, feeling strong and good in your body. Okay, so any questions around that? Does that make sense? That's a pretty big one, especially for women. I know that they really resonate with that. So does anybody know the next one?
Is it yellow?
Yes. Solar plexus. This one's really cool. Because this is your power center. Now, what I've noticed with women, I was talking about this with Jenny yesterday, how we were noticing that women actually are more often in their masculine, overly in their masculine, and they're actually trying to balance that out, like very hyper independent, control issues, workaholics, and they're trying to find their feminine again. And it's because, like, for so many different reasons, we had a lot of shifts in culture. When we were talking about the war, and when women had to go to work, and then women didn't want to be in the house anymore. They didn't want to be locked to their feminism. So we started approaching the workforce. People started getting divorces. Now we have single moms, had to step into their masculine, had to go into survival mode. But now we're trying to find that balance. So with the solar plexus, if you're overly in your masculine, I just want you to pay attention to when it's overactive. So the solar plexus has to do with your power. It's at your belly button. It has to do with your willpower, your control, and your discipline. How do you show up for your life? Like, if your solar plexus is dimmed and not working right, then are you hitting snooze over and over again? Are you missing the workouts that you keep committing to? Are you not showing up for the commitments that you set for yourself and for others? Are you reliable? If you're not reliable, you make a promise and then you fall through, right? When it's unbalanced, you're in victim mentality, victimized, you're complaining a lot. You feel like the world is against you. Constantly giving away your power. I don't want to make the decision. I don't want to make the decision. You can't say no. You have fear of confrontation. You have low self-respect. You have issues with the liver, with acid reflux, and with the gallbladder. This is all about your purpose. It's about your potential. It's about how you go after the things in your life. How do you go after things in your life? If it's overactive, you can have control issues. And a lot of the times, like if somebody has control issues, most of the time it was because at one point in their life was completely freaking chaotic and nothing was in their control. And they will do everything in their power now to not lose that control because it was too painful on the flip side. And so if somebody has control, and that's not always the case, right? There's always, but most of the time that is. So you give them compassion, and tell them it's okay to let go. They'll step over others to feel powerful. Yeah, politics, we see a lot of power issues, right? And also our views towards politics. Like, where can we just be like, whoa, we only have so, you can't, the power dynamic and the power push-pull, the division, it's unhealthy. And so just honoring, each side and coming from a place of just taking control over what you have control over in your life. So fear of dependency. So again, back to that hyper independence. The issue is your vision can get limited. So it's kind of like the energy of no, I'm the leader. We're going to do what I say, even if it's not your zone of genius, right? When it's balanced, we can take task without fussing. You can be a role leader without needing to show off. I always say this, we're all leaders in some area of our life. And so how do you lead when you're in that place? Can take action independently of others' approval. It doesn't mean that you have to shove your version and your views down that person's throat, but you can accept if somebody has different opinions than you, and you still honor your own. Because everybody has their belief system because we've all had different experiences. So if we can understand that, then it allows us to give compassion towards the others without having to necessarily focus on changing their opinion. So yeah, listens to others' opinions, but able to define your own truth. Does anybody resonate with the power center? Yeah. So it was, if you were a child and you felt like things were out of control, or you didn't have any control, or you tried to step up and speak your voice and step into your power and it was stifled, your power center can get really jacked up, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily in childhood, but I had a job where I was just, I was the manager, but nobody respected me, and anytime I tried to make a change, it was always shot down, and I thought I was going to have my gallbladder removed because I was so sick.
Wow.
And then thankfully I got replaced or let go of the job, whatever, and my hair was falling out, I was just so unhealthy, and thankfully it ended. So now I still have my gallbladder.
Yeah, and that was teaching you a lot about you stepping up into your power, because at one point in your life in the future, you probably will be having to use your power in a way where maybe you're leading others, or in a way where you're delegating, or you are a manager of some sort. So it's teaching you that contrast. But yeah, that's such a beautiful example where it doesn't just have to be in your childhood. But early development especially is huge. Before your frontal lobe develops, which is around 25. Yeah. So those years, huge. for how you interact with life moving forward. So a really great way, you guys, just to work with your power center is going to be through